y'all. Welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. We've got another great episode for you today. My name is Jason. I'm the owner of Outdoor Legacy. And as always, I've got my co-host Hans from the Hans East Texas YouTube channel. What is going on tonight, Hans?
Oh, man, when you kick it over to me, you make it kind of sound like I'm your sidekick. If there's anybody that is the Lone Ranger of this show, it's me. So let's put that out there right now.
Okay. Sorry, folks. This is the Hans East Texas show. I'm Jason Robertson. I am just here to assist. I'm the Vanna White of the show.
We are back. It is Thursday. If you're listening the morning of the show, thank you so much. Continue to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. We're getting close to 10,000 subscribers over there, and we appreciate it. And thank you all for listening. If you are, before we jump into it, the whole reason for this show, if you are interested in purchasing any night vision or thermal optic, give us a call at 877-350-1818. Any of the products that you hear about on the show, you can check them out on outdoorlegacygear.com. But if you are in the process of trying to buy something or decide on what to buy, and you need some clarification, you need some guidance, give us a call, 877-350-1818. But we have got another review this week, and this is the little brother of an optic that we've already reviewed previously a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so today we're going to review the iRay or Infiray Micro RL25. Now, Hans has got his on a rifle. I'm going to go ahead and hold this little bad boy up right here. Tiny, as you can see, basically fits in the palm of your hand. And we recorded a show a few weeks ago, review of the big brother to this unit, and we called it the big brother. It's really the exact same size, but it is a 640 high resolution unit. That's called the RH25. And this is the RL25. And I'm going to let Hans go over all the specs, tell you what this thing is. But I'm just going to go ahead and go on the record and say this before we get started, because you may be looking at it saying, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Is that a monocular? Is that a handheld? Is it helmet mounted? And the answer to all of that is yes. So we will get into more of that and tell you what this thing will do. I'm going to let Hans kind of rattle off some of the specs and the important information, and then I'm going to come back around and be his Vanna White and show you this thing and what's going on here.
All right, I'm going to show it on a rifle right now. So if you're not watching on YouTube, you want to see what it looks like on a rifle, go check it out. But here it is. That way I can show it and then put it away. But this is what it looks like, the RL25 mounted on a rifle with the American Defense Manufacturing mount. We're going to talk about all the mounting stuff that you need to be able to put it on a rifle or on a helmet, because this is a multifunctional thermal optic. But we're going to run through the specs real quick, starting with the price. The price of the RL25 Micro is $29.99. All iRay USA optics come with a 5-year warranty. So one of the best warranties in the industry. 5 years is definitely above the average for a thermal or night vision optic. It's a 384 by 288 thermal core resolution with an AMOLED display, 12 micron, 50 hertz refresh rate. It starts at 2 power and goes up to 8 power. Now this is different than the 640 RH25. The RH25 was a 1 power and went to 4 power. The RL25, which is the 384 resolution, starts at 2 power and goes up to 8 power. It is a 4 times digital zoom. It has a 25 millimeter objective lens that is focusable, video and audio recording, 4 different color palettes, 3 different reticle options. Yes, obviously this can be mounted on a rifle, just like you saw, and it does have reticles that you can turn on and off. It does have Wi-Fi that you can stream to an app on your phone, the Infiray Outdoor app. You can use that app to get videos and pictures off of your device. You can also use it, what they call in viewfinder mode, if you want to look at your phone or tablet while you have the scope on pointed at a feeder or whatever. That way you don't have to have your eye in the eyepiece all night long. It runs on one 18650 battery. On our bench test, we got about 4.5 hours of runtime with that battery. It's a great thing. Any optic that runs on 18650, we are a big fan of, obviously, because the availability of those batteries and how inexpensive they are. So you can get a rechargeable 18650 battery for $10-15, and you could have a whole pocket full of them. Each one of them, depending on the ones that it come with, you're going to get about 4.5 hours. The quality of the battery can dictate a lot of that too, but they're so cheap you could just have a whole pocket full of them. Really, they say the detection range is 1,375 yards. Here on the show, detection range really, I don't want to say doesn't mean a lot, but more importantly is the ID range. I would say, in line with a lot of other 384 optics, the identification range is going to be anywhere from 200, possibly 300 yards. Jason, I know before the show you were out looking at a coyote running across your field with it at about 200 yards.
Yep.
So, and you said you could plainly tell it was a coyote. I had the same experience.
I could have shot it. I mean, clearly he was. I'll have to go back and get the exact yardage, but he was. At least 200. I mean, 210. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right. So 200 to 300 yards identification. That's the most important measurement with these optics. But yes, you can detect a target much further than that. The operating temperature, -4 degrees Fahrenheit up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. A lot of guys up north call, that way up north and say, is that -4? I mean, is that the dying point of it, or can I go a little bit, into, colder, -20? Will it still work? I don't know. Here's the thing. We don't have an opportunity to test it in that cold of weather, but we sell these optics to people all over the country. And Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, we've never had one come back and say, it was too cold. It didn't work because it was too cold. So
no, and speaking to that real quick, I mean, guys, if you are hunting in that just super cold stuff and you're hunting in, -10, 20, whatever it is, I have heard stories about different optics. I had a guy tell me this week, it wasn't one of these. It was a different unit. Wasn't even an iRay product, but he was using it in like -22, and he said the screen went white on him. The whole thing just froze up, locked up. It was a brick. Couldn't do anything with it. Got in the truck, sat there for 15 minutes. Thing warmed up. Everything worked perfect. But he could only use it so long. I mean, he was well below what it was rated for. So what I would say to you is, it's not that you're going to, expect to damage the product. Is that there just comes some point that normally the display screens can't, handle that cold of weather, or maybe it's going to be something with the thermal sensor. But those electronics, when you get that cold, or could have problems. So I think if you're going to be out there in -20, you may need to tape some hand warmers or something to this thing.
Yeah. So -4 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit is IP67 weather rated. The recoil that this can withstand is anything from a 300 Win Mag, 700 mag. It'll take anything less than that as well. So
I'm going to pause you right there. I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to make a point. I was going to talk about this in a minute, but if you use the included rail mount, included mount that comes with this unit, I'm holding it in my hand right now. This comes in the bag. We're going to go over a minute what all comes in the box with it, but if you put this and put it on a rifle, this is a spring-loaded mount, and you can put this on anything, including a 50 BMG. So this is with this mount, and we'll talk about the other mounting options. But if you use the stock standard mount, due to this, spring-loaded, and you got to put it on the right way. Okay, you don't want to put this thing on backwards, but you put it on where the recoil hits those springs. You can basically put it on any rifle you got.
Nice. All right. So the weight with the American Defense Manufacturing mount that you saw mounted on my rifle, just over 17.5 ounces. Without the mount, you're going to be close to about a pound. So very lightweight. And the last thing is the field of view. The field of view is 55 feet at 100 yards. So that wraps up our specs. And Jason, I know you're gonna walk
All right.
around walk around the optic and what it comes with in the bag.
Yeah. So let's start with the bag. We'll get this cumbersome thing out of the way. All right. So it comes in a hard box. I don't have that. Obviously, I can barely even show this, but it does have a nylon type padded bag. Gosh, I'm dropping stuff out of here. Cushioned bag. It's got foam in it, so if you're worried about traveling with this, want to protect it or something, you can absolutely put it back in this bag, and it will be fully protected. I mean, it's got a ½ inch to an inch of foam all the way around it. I'm going to go through this stuff quickly. Some of this stuff doesn't really matter to you. A lens cleaning cloth. I'm not going to show you that. It has got the Allen wrenches you'll need for mounting the mount on it. It's got, gosh, this is so hard to get all this stuff out of here, y'all. It comes with a dual 18650 battery charger. Included with that charger is the plug into the wall, as well as the USB cable that you'll need to charge that. So those are just parts for the charger. It does come with 2 high-quality 18650 batteries. So you're going to get 2 of those batteries. It only takes 1 at a time in the scope, so you've got a spare. Really like that. Also, let's see here. What else is in there? Okay, I already showed you the stock mount. All right, so if you want to mount this on a rifle, and it's not quick detach, guys. It's got thumb screws here. This is not going to be a guaranteed return to 0 or anything like that. I mean, it might, but I would say if you take this off, you're probably going to want to re-zero it. But it does come in the box with it. You have got a very wide eye cup here that you can change out if you want this big wide eye cup. It comes standard with this shorter, what I would call more of a normal standard eye cup already pre-installed on it there. And let me see what else is in here. I'm just digging through. Let's see what. Oh, here's another part. It's another piece that you might put on the bottom for mounting. All right, I think. Okay. Oh, last thing. Sorry, guys. It's cumbersome to do this on video. This is a big cable, and this blue thing on here is just a protector for the end of that. All right. So what this is, a little strange. This unit has a 7-pin external connector. So I'm going to go ahead and hold this up. It's got a rubber little cover over it, and right underneath there is a 7-pin connector. And that is how you're going to transfer all your video off of this unit. Now, you can do it with the app. I believe, Hans, you did that, didn't you? Or did you use the USB cable?
Yeah.
I knew you just pulled some video off. We were talking yesterday. And so you can do it with, wirelessly with the app, but you can plug this into the side and then plug it into a computer. This is a big, heavy, bulky data cable. This is not a little rinky-dink thing. I mean, this is a specific plug that goes into the end of it. This is not something you're going to have laying around. So if you're going to want to do that, you're going to want to keep that. That's important. Don't lose it. So that's basically what comes in the box. Again, everything you're going to need from a standard Picatinny rail mount all the way to, 2 batteries, chargers, spare eye cup, the full meal deal. Now, holding the unit up, I'm going to just do a quick walk around. I mean, this is a little bitty tiny unit, as you can see. I literally, when I say, fits in the palm of your hand, it literally fits in the palm of your hand. On the top, very simple. You can see your 3-button layout here. It's just very easy to maneuver through there. On the rear here, you've got your eyepiece or diopter focus, and then you've got this kind of a cushiony eye cup, again, that is removable. You can take it completely off, or you can use the other eye cup that comes in there. I've already showed you over here this data port. Then on the front, what we've got is right here. This is the rubber can't say the word. Lens cap. Eye cap. Lens cap. Now, this right here, I'm not sure what to think about this. If you take this and you see how I just folded that back, you see that, folks? There's kind of a way to literally just fold this thing over. And when you
don't get too much into it, because that's part of my dislikes. So
I don't know. But I just want to say, but here's what I do want to say. There is a way. If you take this, see, guys, look, I'm hitting this. If you fold this right, it moves it out of the way. And I mean, I don't know if that's accidental. I really don't think it is. I think it's intentional. There is a way to move that, and it's completely out of the way. If you don't like this, you can very easily pop this thing right off and just push it off, take it off, put it in your pocket. I mean, push it on, take it off, put it in your pocket when you know you're not using it, whatever. Anyway, just want to throw that out. And then you can also see this right here. This is your tethered battery cap. It does have a rubber strap on it, you can see, so you won't lose it. There is your 18650 battery in there. And that's basically it. Now, what I'm going to show you here, I'm going to go ahead and work on some of the mounting options. Let me get this battery cap back on here so my battery doesn't fall out. Okay. On the bottom of this unit right now, I have what is called the iRay USA Pigtail Adapter. If you're watching this and you're in another country, I am sorry. This is an iRay USA only product. We are not allowed to sell these out of the country. And so this, again, they call it a pigtail adapter. You can see right here, it has got a little Picatinny adapter, and then it's got this, this hot shoe mount. Now, this will do two things. One, you can mount this if you're helmet mounting. You can slide that shoe right in there onto your mount on your helmet. Okay, we're good to go there. And then as you saw on Hans's rifle, and by the way, this piece right here, I mean, we sell these. Every dealer that sells these units should sell these. Okay, so this, I know there's some questions. I've had some guys that have called me and said, hey, I bought this thing somewhere else. My dealer doesn't carry these. Then you need a new dealer. He may be out of stock, but if he doesn't carry the normal standard iRay pieces for it, then he's not a good dealer. So man, this piece right here is a
yeah, man. That's
well, there's been
I
am throwing flames because there has been some issues with some guys like. I bought this, but he doesn't carry any of these, and now I can't find it. Now I can't use it. He didn't tell me I needed any of this. So anyway.
So basically, if he carries the optic but not the mounts, then he's not a real dealer. So
exactly. And if he's out of stock on them, I get it. I understand that. I mean, everybody runs out of stock on stuff. These have actually been, pretty hard to get at times. We'd run through them, and then iRay would be getting them made. These are made by American Defense. Speaking of American Defense, oh, and by the way, this is $129. This little pigtail adapter, $129. All right, this I'm holding in my hand, American Defense. You can see the logo. This is called the MQD. This is the QD mount for it. So basically, it's easy to see here what's going on. This just mounts right in this Picatinny slot here in the bottom, and I said it's easy. It's easy until you get on camera. Then it's nothing is easy. Let me get this in here. Good gracious, folks. There we are. All right. So now it's on the bottom, and now I am able to, let me turn it around so you can see. I can now use this lever, and I can quickly attach it to a Picatinny rail on a rifle. So I can. So again, if I've got this on my rifle right now, all I've got to do is I can leave the mount on the rifle if I would like to, or I can take it off. Either way, there's two QD throw levers. Take it off, pull that. Now I've got this unit. I can hand hold it, or I can slide it into my helmet mount, whichever you want to do. This unit or this piece right here, the MQD, is $199. It's $200, $129. So this is where the confusion gets with people. Do I need those? Do I need one of those? Do I need both of those? What do I need? If all you want to do is take this unit and use it as a handheld, then you don't need anything. Buy it. You've got everything you need. If you want to buy this unit and you don't care anything about a quick detach rifle mount, you just want to mount it on your rifle, you don't need anything else. The mount that I showed you previously is in the box. You're good to go. So if you want to mount this onto a helmet, you have to have this $129 Pigtail adapter. All right. If you want to mount this onto a rifle with a quick detach option, then you need both the Pigtail adapter and the $199 MQD mount. All right. Very simple. That's what it is. Those are the pieces. Those are the parts. Hans might have said this in some of the specs. I want to go ahead, and if he hasn't, I want to say this now. I should have said this earlier, and again, maybe you did, Hans. This is not a clip-on. All right, the 640 model, the RH25, can function as a clip-on in front of a 1 or 1.5 power, daytime optic. This unit cannot. It is handheld, helmet-mounted, rifle-mounted only, and there was some confusion about that early on. I will even admit this. I answered a couple guys' questions, on social media before these units were out, or maybe when they had first come out, and they said, "Hey, can I use this as a clip-on?" And I answered, "Yes, you can." That was the information that I was given, and we quickly found out that was only true for the 640 version that was 1 power. This 2 power model cannot be used as a clip-on. So I'll be honest with you guys, very, very, very few people are using these as a clip-on. Again, it can only be in front of a 1 or a 1.5 power max optic. So that's not the way most people are using it. But just FYI, the 384 version cannot. Hans, I was going to say what I leave out, but I did leave out one thing. It does come with a full-size paper manual. Guys, I have some people that, they'll get a manual. Some of the companies like iRay are putting paper manuals, and guys will complain, "Well, the manual is, it had a mistake or it wasn't." And I'm like, listen, you complain if it doesn't have a manual. You complain if it does have a manual. iRay's manuals are very thorough, and they are paper manuals, at least for now. We're very glad of that. Most companies have moved away from that. One reason is they can't fix mistakes. They can't fix errors. If they, make changes to the optic down the road, all their manuals are wrong. But right now, iRay's got a paper manual, and I mean, this is a full-size, nice manual.
It's one of the most detailed manuals that you'll get out of all manufacturers, to tell you the truth. A lot of them are just quick start guides, but this is a full manual. So I want to jump in real quick to the dislikes and likes, and I'll start out because you kind of mentioned one of mine. The rubber objective lens cover, not a big thing, but it is. Maybe I'm not folding it right. Maybe I need to get you to show me how you're doing it. But I know it flips out, but sometimes it kind of still gets in the way and it'll creep back over to block the objective lens. Not a huge deal, once you start messing with it. The plastic ones are nicer, but I can understand why this one really can't have a plastic one because it has such a small objective lens on it. So not really that big of a deal. A couple of other things, and again, not a big deal. You can't use it as a clip-on. It's more of information more than a negative, but you and I, our feelings on clip-ons. So I have no desire to use it as a clip-on, but there might be some people out there that are like, "Oh man, the 640 is a clip-on, but this one's not." It's definitely not. You can't use it as a clip-on. So that's another small negative. The other thing is probably the biggest, and it's the menu. You're going to have to spend some time. Jason and I use a lot of optics, and we've gotten pretty good at jumping right into an optic and being able to figure things out. This one, there's a couple different menus that you go into. You're switching. There's a lot of functions. This thing does a lot. This little small unit does a lot. So whether you're in handheld mode, whether you're turning on a reticle, whether you're adjusting the settings, the menu is a little bit. There's going to be a learning curve.
I'm going to jump in here. Okay, yeah. I'm going to jump in here. I don't want to scare anybody off of this unit. I don't think it's a reason to not buy it, but here's what I'll say. I personally don't feel like the menu, like the icons and the things that it does, I think that's actually really pretty simple. I think it's weird button presses. I think
It
that's the
is.
thing for me that is the menu. Granted, it's symbols. Okay, I don't care what
Yeah.
scope you pick up. You got to know what the symbols mean. I mean, yeah, that's not
Right.
hard. You look at the manual, you figure that out. That doesn't matter. It's the button presses that I think are not intuitive to me. Once you have played with it, if you sit down, which we advise everybody to do, you get the unit, get your manual, sit down in your living room, lean back in your chair and start playing with it and pushing all the buttons and figure what everything does. Get into the menus. I always tell guys, you're not going to screw anything up. You can always do a factory reset if you don't know what you did, and play with it. And once you figure out how these buttons function, I think it'll be
Yeah.
fine. I do not disagree though. I don't want to say that the menu's hard. So I know there's some older guys that are like, if it's complicated, I can't do it. I don't think it's complicated. I just think that the buttons,
Mm-hmm.
what you have to press to get into things, like you got to hold a button here and there. It's not intuitive like a lot of other scopes. So I would say that
No.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say it's
No.
not hard. It's the
Yeah,
weird button
I'm glad
presses.
you clarified that because it is. It's to get into a certain item on the menu, it's a short press of the menu button, but to change, I don't know, it's up and down. You got to play with this thing. Like I said, this is a multifunctional thermal optic. It's a great optic. It does a lot of things, but when an optic does a lot of things, there's also more ways to change things in menus, and you gotta.
Sure.
There's a lot of different functions in there. Anyway,
And let me say one quick thing, and I'll wrap that. If you're going to mount this, and a lot of guys that are buying this, be clear, you're mounting them on helmets. I know that. That's the majority of people that are buying this, and we're going to get in with this, who it's good for. They're mounting them on helmets. If you're mounting this on a helmet, you're going to get this thing set up, and who cares? You're not going to be digging through those menus because you're not zeroing it. You're not, doing all these other things. You're putting it on a helmet. You might record some video, which is very simple to do. Long press a button, turn it off, just like any other optic.
Right.
If you're putting on a rifle and you're going to zero this thing in, once you've got that done, again, what are you going to do? You're going to, you're going to record video and you're going to shoot. It's not hard once you set this thing up. I just don't want people to feel like, oh my gosh, can't buy it. These guys said
it's
it was hard.
not. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. But like we say with any other optic, get it out of the box. Don't let your first exposure to the menu be when you're on the range trying to sight it in.
No,
Sit
no,
down.
no. Those are the worst
and-
phone calls.
Yeah,
Is
the
the
worst.
guys, he doesn't know. He's like, hey, I'm on the range. How do I turn this thing on? I'm like,
Yeah. So sit
you're
down and
never
play
gonna
with
get
it. Sit down and play with it in your living room. Anyway, those are the dislikes, very small dislikes. None of these I would say should be a deciding factor in not to buy this optic. An otherwise fantastic optic. These are small, but let's talk about the likes. Unless you have any more dislikes you want to talk about.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. So the likes, and we can kind of just rapid fire this, Jason, or shotgun it, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to say first and foremost is the flexibility and the size of this thing. When I say flexibility, I mean all the different uses that you can have this for. I mean, whether you're using it as a monocular, if you're scouting deer, if whatever. I mean, it's so small it can fit in any pocket. You can obviously use it and mount it on a helmet. You can use it as a handheld binocular. You can put it on a scope. It's a very good rifle scope. Very compact on the rifle. Don't feel it at all. So I would say for me, the biggest thing is all the different uses of this small little micro that you can do. I mean, it's just, and a lot of times when you have this many functions, it's like it's pretty good at everything, but not great at anything. Like it's a decent monocular or a decent scope. This is a great monocular. It's a great scope. I mean, it's a legit piece of equipment.
Yep. So I'm going to real quick go down my list, and then we move on. We're going to run out of time. We got to talk some more about this unit. So quickly, I think the biggest thing, and we cannot pound this enough, I hope that the manufacturers from other companies watch this. This is really for them more than it is for you, but it's 18650s. Guys, 18650s. This is where it's at. We are seeing a few more 18650s pop up into some of these thermal optics, and it's just a huge, huge deal. This is not just a Hans and Jason beating a drum. This is our customers who we speak to daily that go nuts, loving 18650 batteries, way prefer it over CR123As, and way prefer it over the proprietary batteries that other manufacturers are using. So manufacturers, if you're listening, your customers want 18650s, period. I mean, so it's, again, I mean, I don't have to, Hans already told you why it's such a good deal, so I'm not even going to get into that. Obviously, size, weight, the 5-year warranty, that's a big deal. Guys, this is a $3,000 optic. You can look in that two ways. You can go, my gosh, that's a lot of money. Or you can say, whoa, that's not that much money for all that I'm getting in a thermal optic. Either way, you've got a 5-year warranty protecting that investment. That is a transferable warranty. What I like about this is you can buy this unit. You may go out and use it for a couple seasons and say, hey, you know what? There's some new model out there that I want. I'm gonna sell this thing to my buddy, or you know, put it out there online, find somebody to buy it. That guy can buy it and have a 3-year warranty. Well, 3-year is what the standard in the industry. So he's getting a 2-year-old unit, but he's got all the comfort of knowing he's got a normal standard warranty left. So anyway, I think that's a big deal for me. And then my other like is the fact that it's a 2-power. It makes this unit much more usable to me. This way, it's much more usable as a standard rifle scope if I need to go out and shoot something with it. If I'm using it as a handheld, I don't mind 1 power, but 2 power fits a whole lot more people. You know, even guys that are using them on helmets. Now, you're not going to walk around with this thing. You got 2 power. You know, you can't walk around with it. But a lot of guys that I'm talking to with them on helmets, they're running maybe a dual, a PVS 14 over here for their navigation. When they get to where they're going, they're calling coyotes, calling hogs, whatever they're doing. They flip the PVS 14 up. They drop this down. Now they're scanning across the field and looking with their thermal. They do have a little magnification, so they're going to be a little quicker and easier to identify. So those are my likes on the unit. And we're just kind of, I know we're going to run out of time. I want to kind of roll into this, Hans, and talk about just our general thoughts on it, and kind of, you know, who ought to buy it and who shouldn't buy it. And my opinion on this unit is, if you're looking for something that does, well, okay, hold on, let me back this up. If you're looking for helmet mounting and that's all you care about, great optic. Here you go. This is it. It'll do some other things. You may or may not want it, you know, to do those things, but it'll do them. You don't have to use them. There it is. So obviously, helmet mounting, thermal, very good image quality, $29.99, $3,000. This is it. This is your unit. All right. But if you want a small handheld that, again, you might mount on a rifle sometimes, or a helmet mount that you might mount on a rifle sometimes, I mean, I think that's where this unit really shines, again, is the multi-function. I think if you're looking for just a monocular and it's just all about size, it's all about size. You know, maybe you're deer hunting, maybe you're elk hunting, and you're packing stuff in, and you know, you got to be able to slip this in your pocket, or somehow, you know, connect a lanyard to this thing. I think that's where this unit becomes really, really good, and where I think it is the best unit for that is this 18650. That's where I think even the other iRay, the ML19, which is a small 384 unit they have, it's, you know, just helmet mounted or handheld. It can't mount to a rifle. It's a nice little unit, but it doesn't use an 18650. So I think that's the benefit here. Hans, I'm going to let you talk in just a second. I'm just trying to get all this out while I'm thinking about it. The last thing I would say on that is, in my opinion, if you are just going to mount it on a rifle, you're just looking for a scope, and that's it. Just, I mean, I'm looking for a scope. That thing's small, it's lightweight, looks cool. Unless you're just doing a whole lot of really up close stuff and you're not hunting a bunch, then I think this unit would be fine. But if you're going to really like, man, I'm going to go out, 3 nights a week, I'm going to use this all the time. I think in that case, I would go ahead and buy a full size thermal optic, in the same price range. I just think it will be, if you're mounting it to the rifle and leaving it, you're not talking about that much more weight. You're going to have, I just think, a little easier, button menu layout. So if that's all you're ever going to do, I don't know that it's the best deal for that. If you're not going to use any of the other functions. But again, if you're going to use a little bit of two things or, a lot of two things, then I think it's a good deal.
Here are the guys that, and I'll say it this way because this might be the best way to say it, but the guys that purchase this unit, I'll tell you what they do with it, and that'll probably give us a better understanding of what it's going to be good for. The ones that call up and purchase this unit and I talk to, they say, I want something that I can have and be able to look out my door or look around my pasture, look at my field. And if I have to, I want to be able to have the opportunity to put on a rifle if I got to shoot at a coyote that's trying to get one of my cows or one of my calves or something. So, but I want to be able to have something I can sit on the nightstand or sit by the table by the door that I can just grab real quick and go look outside. Or guys that say, I want a monocular to go with my thermal scope, but I also want something in case my buddy comes that I can put on a rifle, let him shoot with. So I think the common theme or the characteristic of the people that are buying this is, first and foremost, they're looking for a handheld or a helmet mounted thermal.
Correct.
The second most popularly used would be a backup scope or putting on a rifle scope if you need to for protection of your livestock or whatever, just something you can throw on real quick to take a shot. But people are typically not buying this as their primary and only thermal weapons sight. If you're looking, like Jason said, if you're looking for a thermal scope that's going to be on your rifle 90 to 100% of your time, look at the Bolt, look at the Bravo. There's some other very, very good iRay products that you can get into that are going to be fantastic scopes. You're not going to get the flexibility, but if you're looking for a thermal scope only, there would be some better options.
Yep. 100% agree. I mean, I think fantastic little unit, very fair price. I think there's a lot of bang packed into this little thing for the buck. We really, really do like it. I think that you just need to know what you're going to do with it. Again, I mean, Hans explained that really, really well. I don't think there's any need in me trying to beat that horse. I think he said that really well. Image quality on this thing is great. I want to say this. If you're going to spend, so this unit's $3,000, and let's say you're going to mount it on the rifle and you're going to use these quick detach options, you're going to spend another $329. So you're at $3,330. Hans, is my math right? You're better than me at this. So yeah,
right.
200 and 130. So yeah, you're at 3,300 basically. If all you're going to do is use it as a rifle scope with a quick detach mount for $3,300, I think there's better options. I think, like he said, you got the Bravo that's 3,500. From iRay, you've got the iRay Bolt that's 3,300. I think those, for dedicated scopes, they're going to give you, number one, more magnification. They're going to give you 3 power. They're going to give you a better image quality. While this is really good, it is not the same image quality as that you're going to get out of an iRay Bravo or an iRay Bolt in this, very similar price range. But again, those units are 3 times as big as this, and they don't do all of this. So you got to know what you're buying. Guys, we harp on this a lot, and we can't say this enough, but thermal optics are tools. And you can, I've used this corny analogy, and I'll use it again, but you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and there can be a garden rake and a shovel hanging up side by side, and they can both be $12 or $15. Right. And you can buy that garden rake, and you can go out there, if you work really, really hard, and you can probably dig a hole with it. You could fill a hole back up. But you go out there with the shovel and, you could level out your garden, level out that dirt, but sure be a lot easier with the rake. The two tools are both, garden or dirt related tools. They're the same price. They hang side by side. But if you buy the wrong one for the job, you're going to struggle. You might make it work. And if you don't know any better, if all you've got's a rake and you've never seen a shovel, then you go, man, is there another way to dig a hole? I didn't know that. But that's why we really suggest, if you're like, I don't know what I need. Do I need a rake or a shovel? Do I need this unit or do I need another, an iRay bolt? That's where give us a call. Hans and I use every single one of these optics. And it doesn't matter to us whether you buy this unit or you buy a Bolt or a Bravo or some other brand or something. We don't care. We want to sell you what works best for your application. We do care about that. Because if you get something and it's the wrong thing, you're not happy with it, then it's not good for us. We want happy customers. We want people that buy and they go out there and they go, this is fantastic. I love it. I'm so glad I did it. I can't wait to go tell my buddies about this. And then they're going to come to us. All right. So happy customers are good for us. It's good for the whole industry. More people get into it because of it. But I can tell you, if you go spend, and I don't care whatever it is, if it's $2,000 or it's $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000, and all you've got is some Facebook comments that you've read and some, maybe you've watched some YouTube videos and I think this is what I need, but I'm not sure. And you go spend whatever, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and you get it, and you get out there, and after about a month or two of using it, you go, ooh, this is not working like I thought. That's a bad feeling. And we don't want that. That's why we produce this show. That's why Hans and I make ourselves available to our customers. Call us 877-350-1818. You can talk to us. We will help you figure out which one of these optics you need. Then we can help you with the purchase. And then after you get it, we can help you answer all your questions, whether it's zeroing, whether it's setup, whether it's, hey, why is my unit doing this or what's going on? That's what we're here for. And if you're spending this kind of money, you want to make sure you get the right optic. And this is going to be the right optic for a lot of people, and it's going to be the wrong optic for some other people.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, again, if you are interested in this optic or any other optic, give us a call, 877-350-1818. You can find all of the optics right there on the website, outdoorlegacygear.com. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, The Late Night Vision Show, go give us a subscribe. Thank y'all for watching on Spotify. Thank you for watching on Facebook. Share it. That helps the show. Any good ratings, we really appreciate it. We love producing the show. We love doing it. It's nice when people call up and they want to purchase an optic from us and they say, hey, we saw you and the way that we learned about you was from the show, the Late Night Vision Show. So we appreciate that. And thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to give us a listen. So if you want to find Jason on all the socials, you can do so at Outdoor Legacy Gear on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube, on the hunting forums. A lot of guys call in and say, hey, I talked to Jason on the hunting forum. So he's very active over there. If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram, HANSETX. It's Hans ETX on Instagram and on YouTube. And as always, make sure that you check out our website, thelatenightVisionShow.com, for all of our present episodes, past episodes, there, anywhere in between. And we appreciate being able to bring this show to you every week.
Guys, I want y'all to stay tuned. We have got a couple big shows coming very soon. Some reviews on some optics that we have been testing behind the scenes, pre-production, before these units are released. These are going to be some big shows. A lot of interest is going to be generated on these optics. We can't talk about it all right now, but I can just tell you in the next few weeks, there's going to be some, I know of at least two in particular, really exciting shows, optics that, again, you have probably heard of, but you don't know much about because they haven't been, they're not released. They're not out in the wild yet. But Hans and I have had some of these units for a couple months now, using them, kind of keep the lid on things. But we are excited about these shows because I think there's going to be a lot of excitement in the industry around a couple of these optics. So y'all stay tuned. The Late Night Vision Show, that is your place for all the latest, the greatest, and the breaking news in the thermal and night vision hunting world. All right, guys, we will see y'all next week. That's the plan. Between now and then, y'all stay safe and keep making those bacon pancakes.